reading through Second Kings, and Elijah, his men want to build onto his house because it's not big enough. So they want to go down to the Jordan and get some timber and add on. And then they get him to go with them. And so one of the guys is using an axe that they borrowed from somebody, and the head of the axe falls into the river. And he's like, "Oh my God, it's borrowed." And so he's, "Where did it go in?" He takes a stick and he throws it, and it makes the iron head of the axe float on the water. So a little miracle. Then the next thing it talks about, there's a famine in Syria. Okay. And the king is walking along a wall, and this woman screams and gets his attention. And what happened is so this one woman who has a child, so they both have children, and she says, "Let's eat your child today, and then we'll eat my child tomorrow." So she cooks her child, and they eat her child, but the other lady hid her child. And the king is just like freaking out. So he decides to go after Elijah. And, he's threatening to take his head. But it's like, if this is going to happen in my country, why don't you just eat me, right? So he's like dressed in sackcloth but Elijah's like, what are you doing coming to my door, pal? You're the son of a murderer, blah, 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 And so in my head, because of this idea of the comedian, so I've got the attitude and tone of Gilbert Godfrey as Elijah. Where did you drop the head of the axe? All right, let me throw a stick at it. All right, now be careful with it. All right, the guy's coming after him. What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing coming after me? You're the son of a murderer. So I got Gilbert Godfrey's commentary or what do you call it? Voiceover for Elijah in my head, right? But there's the huge trust issues, big time, and it reminds me of I was in the invasion of Panama, Just Cause. And I had my leadership went against what we were taught in training from the Vietnam veterans, right? You don't engage the enemy unless you have the elements prize, cover and concealment, and superior firepower. We were on a lighted runway and behind, and they knew we were coming. Well, all we had was superior firepower. In actuality, they got one guy with an AK-47 caused all the damage. He had a positional advantage in a window in the second story of the hangar, and he was shooting our guys while we were shooting in the hangar. So that guy the prize because we didn't know where he was at, covering concealment. There you go. Come on, my God, Navy SEALs. I wasn't supposed to have. So after that, I couldn't trust my leadership. Okay. Now this is so anything that my leadership said after that, I challenged. Okay. And they didn't like it very much. And I spent my last 6 months in the Navy standing gate guard duty. Okay. They could push me further out, right? I'm seeing that without God, there's a huge lack of trust. Okay. And but with God, the leaders that have God directing their steps, they bring prosperity and they bring victory. Well, things are good with them. Okay. And I'm seeing, I'm seeing right now time that people that do not have God really in their life, directing their steps, they're selfish and hard-headed, right? And they cause turmoil around them because their decisions are selfish. So, there's you can actually apply, what I see in the scriptures to right now, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It's been 2 years now that I've been working for High Sierra Chemicals. So I get the notices on LinkedIn, congratulating on my time. There's something been very interesting that happened. The leadership of the company is Dr. Carl Kobe. Dr. Carl Kobe is a retired Army Ranger colonel from Vietnam with PhD. He's the dean of Ceres University. And what he does with Ceres University, it's the only accredited online university for the produce industry, and they run courses like HACCP training, Primus version 3, PCQI training for the food safety managers and warehouse managers for the produce industry. And I got a call last Friday from Dr. Kobe asking me if I would teach a class on active shooter. And I've never done that before, but I started looking it up, and it's very similar to the anti-piracy. The differences that are not so subtle are you can't run away from a ship, and pirates don't want to kill you; they just want to take you hostage. Well, these active shooters are they're there to kill you. Okay, everybody talks about run, hide, fight. Okay, that's a good foundation, easy to remember, but there's more to it than that. And when I teach the classes, and it's really crazy because of my experience, why I think the way I do. When I first got to the SEAL teams, we were at John Shaw's shooting school, and somebody said, after being locked and loaded all day, getting the brief, going to the range, clean the weapons, somebody's like, do you ever wonder when we're getting the brief and if we pulled our gun and started shooting, how many guys we could get before anybody got us? I'm like, no, I never thought of that. But from that point on, every time we were locked and loaded, I was watching him, and he was like the first of maybe 4 guys throughout my career that would make statements like that. All right. And it caused me to be very diligent, very aware of who was doing what when every time I was on the range. I think about, Chris Kyle getting killed in this situation. I mean, because the way I think, that would have shot that guy as soon as he looked ugly, as soon as he looked like he was gonna do something, and I may have never let him have a gun because of the way I've been trained. Okay, and so when I do these workshops for active shooter, I'm going to ask people if they got military experience or experience in combat sports, boxing, wrestling, martial arts, and I'm going to tell them, one of your fellow employees who's got offended bad enough from a supervisor or the boss or fellow employee, and bad enough where he's going to come to work with a gun. Once he gets that guy, he's looking at you all is secondary targets. All right, and I want them to have a higher level of diligence. Okay, be more aware. Okay, and with their background and their understanding, they may be, why do you think some people go to restaurants and they always sit, with their back to the wall or so they're facing the door, right? Not just because of the, Wild Bill Hickok story, right? They're diligent, okay, and those kind of people are probably going to survive. They're going to, if they get them and their family out, and they're going to, or if they can't, they're going to use a table as a shield and smash that guy against the wall, and if they create enough of an opportunity for everybody else to gang up on him and subdue him or take him out. So that's what you have to think, how we have to be thinking. Okay. And this goes way back a long time. People are predators, right? And it sucks to have to go that, that way. But you got to really, really know somebody well enough to relax around them, and so when somebody shows you that they're not selfish and shows you that they have your best interest enough times, then that's why you're comfortable to be around them. But once somebody shows you how selfish they are, one time, you doubt anything they ever did previously. It hasn't changed in 2,000 years, right?